So here's my little problem, Jesus.
Stop it! Stop! Stop the whining and the sniveling right now! There are Christians in this world who are oppressed. Yes. There are Christians in North Korea who can't go to worship without risking being thrown into a gulag. There are Christians in Palestine who can't even get to their churches because of Israeli checkpoints and walls. You are not oppressed as a Christian in this country. Quit your sniveling whining.
One of the most common and consistent things that you see throughout American history is white conservative Christians, entire worlds collapsing every time their dominance and chokehold over everybody else slips in some form or fashion. Whether that be the United States relationships with Native Americans, whether that be the United States relationships with slavery and the abolishment of slavery and everything that came after that, integrating schools, just integrating the economy in general. All the resistance and the fighting. I mean, the Civil War was the bloodiest war in American history, and that was fought to save and salvage the institution of slavery and that way of life. That's what it was about, as we all know. And again, everything that came after that, just how viciously white Christian conservatives have fought against equality of any means. You always see that. So that's one of the things that I really appreciated about my man for making this video, is because the reality is that platforms like TikTok go a long way now. So perhaps his message can get out with this video too. Who knows?
That savior you claim to serve said, take up your cross and follow him. And you're whining and crying because what? Because nobody's letting you treat gay people like shit anymore? What the hell is wrong with you? Quit whining. Stop it.
But the reality is that until the right wing gets its act together in some form or fashion, they're both going to become more extreme and less popular within the country. Because, how can people on our side, or just with any type of, rational mindset, look at what the American right wing is doing and think that makes sense? That's just. I'm totally down with that. I mean, you can look at it in the numbers, and that's all you got to do. So, it's always crazy to think about what these people think they're losing. The country is still overwhelmingly Christian in terms of who adheres to what religion. It's still overwhelmingly Christian, and the country is still overwhelmingly white. And even though that's slowly being chipped away, your right to be a Christian is not being threatened whatsoever. And one of the craziest realities for the GOP is that as they advance forward, really their only option to maintain any type of vigor within their base is to continue to become more extreme. Because as I've talked about on this channel before, as the horror stories pile up from things like the reversal of Roe v. Wade, mind you, what the Supreme Court did to the EPA, basically ruining their ability to do what it was created to do. All the things that the Supreme Court is doing, the things that the Republican states are doing, the fact that Republicans within the federal government, all of them unanimously voting no on important measures that could have marginally improved people's lives. As more and more people see this, they're going to become less and less popular. So, the Republican Party really has just put themselves in this situation where it's either you get more and more extreme or, basically just lose your relevance over the years to the point where you're going to have to go further to the left. The whole system is about to go to the left because we know millennials, Gen Z overwhelmingly are left wing. And when you look at things on a policy basis, change always comes around eventually. And that's the way things are swinging. So the Republican Party, when they reversed Roe v. Wade, they really screwed themselves. So it's really going to be interesting to see how things unfold, not just over the months, but over the next, 10 to 20 years, what's going to happen to political parties and the political structure of this country.